So today we're going to build together an AI agent for data analysis that you can implement for your clients or for your own company, really. It's not that complicated at all, and we're going to do that in N8N. I've chosen a public available database. You can do that as well, but you can also use your own database if you have it. And ultimately, this AI agent will be analyzing the database, of course, trying to gather insights or just basic informations and giving you back the analysis with charts and all sent via email. As you can see, the workflow is divided in two. So the first one is the one that is running, let's say, in the front or the main workflow. And one of the things that this workflow is doing is calling the secondary workflow or the workflow on the back, however you want to call it. And I have it here pasted just so you can see. We're gonna get in details in a minute, but just so you know, we have two-step workflow. Believe me, you're not gonna find that complicated. So for the database, as I mentioned, I'm using a public available one, and it is an online retail sales database. I'm gonna leave that link in the description of the video. You can use it just like I did. You can look for more public available databases, or you can use your very own. So for both the chat memory and also the SQL query, I'm gonna explain that better in a minute. I'm using Supabase, just like I did in my previous video. So we are going to be storing our data, the one that we downloaded, in Supabase, and that's where we're gonna have the SQL query looking for information. And also, as I mentioned on my previous video, with Supabase, you also have Postgres to be used as chat memory, which is much better solution than just use the built-in N8N. So before we get to specifics, let's check if it is working after. I'm gonna ask some just information at this point, just for us to check if it's working. And then after we build it, I'm gonna ask for more follow-ups and ultimately have that sent via email. So let's say, what is the database about? Now, while the AI agent is thinking, please remember to like the video and subscribe for the channel. So it's giving us a pretty detailed information about the database. So it's a comprehensive online retail sales data for an e-commerce business from December 2010 to December 2011. It gives the amount of records we have, products, unique customers, countries, the data structure, and yeah, it's working just fine. By the way, just so you can see it, I have here on my Excel file the database. So the AI agent just got it right. Now let's go back to the agent. So now that we see that it's working, let's build it. Okay, let's start with the AI agent node itself. So when we open this one here, we notice that we have AI agent connected to the chat trigger. That's the one that we are using. By the way, this one could be replaced in a different solution for a Slack message, a WhatsApp message, a Teams message. In this case, we are using the built-in solution for N8N because we are looking for the end result to be an email sent, not a reply to our Slack message or anything like that. And here, that's where you're going to input your system message, meaning your system prompt. And that's where I recommend you taking a good time and making an effort to make it actually a really good prompt. By the way, you can pause the video and check it out, but I'm telling you what the AI agent is expected to do. What is he doing? It's a data analyst tasked with analyzing online retail sales, generating email reports. Following up, I have the database context. That's very important when you are working with database. Actually, let your AI know what is the database structure before anything else, because that's going to be really helpful for the SQL query we are going to perform in a minute, or the AI is going to perform in a minute. So this is a very important part of the prompt. I'm telling it the available tools we have, and whenever you are building an AI agent, you always want to tell it about the tools that you are providing. So we have the call SQL agent, and he's going to use this tool to execute SQL queries against the database, the table in this case, and we're going to be checking that in details in a minute. Same thing for the charts. We have another call for the AI to build charts for us to help us visualize the data and honestly understand what's going on. And of course, the final tool is the email, and I'm telling it to be very specific to only send the email when the user says so. Because if I don't say that, sometimes the AI agent will send me an email when I just ask for information. Remember when we checked if it was working? Also, what's the database about? If on my prompt, I was not providing this very specific information, which is only send the email when the user is specifically asking you to do so, the AI would have sent me the email even though I didn't ask. I only ask for general information about the database. So that's very important. Finally, the instructions. So kind of what do you want the process for the AI to be. So he came up with a plan, the query, the analysis, and so on. So take a moment to look at this. I also mentioned some important things about formatting, the units, and dates. Some guidance for the SQL queries we are running, and we are doing so with Postgres. And by the way, you can use OpenAI or any other AI to help you craft a very good prompt. I would encourage you to do so, especially if you are a beginner. Actually, nonsense. Even if you're not a beginner, I would encourage anyone to use it. That's another very specific thing. Whenever you're prompting, it's very important to provide examples. So I'm giving examples here of what kind of the user questions you should expect, also for the output. And finally, I provide the user question here, which is the input. Which in this case, I didn't have to because I have the user message being told here. Actually, you don't need this. Now let's move on to the model we are using for the AI. In this case, I'm using OpenRouter API here to use Claude. But I've just left the OpenAI chat model here for you to see that you could have used the OpenAI one. I just chose OpenRouter because I wanted to use Claude 8.7 for this case. That's where you settle the temperature. Remember, closest you have to 0, less you allow for creativity. So when you are running an analysis, you don't want a lot of creativity. You want to control. So it's a good practice to go for a very low temperature. And even more important than that, I would encourage you to test. So go for 0.1, go for 0.2, go for 0.3 or 4, and check what is going to return the best results constantly for you. Postgres chat memory, and for this you're going to need the Postgres credentials, and you have that on Supabase as I showed you on my last video. So I'm gonna leave a link for you to check how you get the credentials. Everything here is just gonna be almost automatically, including the table name. You just want to add some more context length here. I think the default is 5. I'm just adding 10 for allow it to interact with more past information. Very quickly, this is the Supabase, and here when you click on connect, that's where you gather the information to create your credentials for the Postgres. Again, check my last video. I'm gonna leave the link there, and I'm gonna have the step-by-step in more detail. Okay, now I'm gonna go straight to the call email tool, which is pretty much just setting your Gmail account, or if you don't use Gmail or whatever other email provider you use, and I'm asking to send a message. 2, I'm providing the email. So this is my email, that's why I'm showing, but you can instruct the AI to always ask you for what's the email you should send to. In this case, I'm just using my own email, so I don't have to do that. For the subject, I'm letting the AI model decide. So you just click on the stars here and automatically it's going to be decided by the AI. Okay, let's move on. And for the email type, you want to have that HTML, not text. And if you remember on my original prompt, I was asking specifically as well for the AI to always craft the email with the HTML formatting, not a text one. That's very important as well. The message, just like the subject, I'm letting the AI decide. And for the email, that's it for now. Now, these other 2 tools here are the ones that are being used to call the other workflow that we have here. And that's where the AI is going to perform 1, queries for the database, so the AI can gather the information it needs to perform the analysis that you requested. Number 2, same thing, but for the charts. So that's where we have the AI agent to build the charts that we need to help visualize the data and etc. And before we get to that, that's probably the most critical part of the workflow. I just want to show you how we add the database to Supabase. Of course, the first thing you need to do is log in. Once you are logged in and within your project, in this case, I'm calling it AI Agent Data Analysis, you can go to Table Editor and you can create a new table or click here. You're going to give a name, etc. And eventually you're going to go for import data from CSV because we downloaded the database as a CSV file. I already did that. Once you do that, you're going to have a database just like this one. And with this, you can, or you must, I would say, provide the information that your AI agent needs in terms of what's the structure of the database. If you don't know how to prompt that, you can always ask AI. You can just take a screenshot of your database, for instance, on Supabase already, and ask the AI that you use, let's say OpenAI, to help you prompt that as a data structure. And it should return you something like this. That's going to help you with the SQL query that we are about to get. 2. Okay, so when you use this node or this tool to call another sub workflow, that's how N8N call it. So you can see it, call N8N workflow 2. When you do that, here are the things that you need to provide. So we're just gonna give it a name. For description, I like to tell the AI when or what for should he use this tool for. Did I say that right? You're going to decide as well which workflow you want to call. And if you don't have one yet, you're going to have an option to create it here. But in my case, I already had it. And here are the fields you want to send. First one, I'm letting the AI decide. I'm calling it a query. So the AI knows that this is the information it needs to parse to the other AI agent so that that AI agent can perform X. The other field is agent. I'm calling it this one SQL. Also very important, you're gonna see that in a minute. And I'm calling first input the first user message, and same thing for the first session ID. So whenever you send a message as a user, you have session ID for that message, and I'm passing that information as well. For the shards, it's pretty much the same thing, except the agent field, I'm calling it a shard and not SQL. Whenever we receive that information, the secondary workflow we created, we're gonna receive those 4 fields: query, the agent, first input, and first session ID. And I'm adding a switch here to determine the next step. If the field agent is equal to SQL, I'm gonna call it SQL, and it's gonna have a different path than when this agent field is called shard. When it's SQL, it's this one on top here. And for the memory, you already know Postgres. The model, same thing, I'm using Claude again. But for the tool, I'm using Postgres again, but to actually run the query to our Supabase database. So again, description, that's where you're going to tell the model when and what to use this specific tool for. The operation is execute the query. And here, this syntax you can use whenever you're using an AI agent, not only for data analysis. When you add information like this from AI, that's you letting the AI decide what is going to be parsed, what is going to be sent, whatever. So you just need to make sure that you're gonna have a key. In this case, key is SQL query. And after the comma, what I'm telling is the description. So all that is to help both the AI agent decide what is going to be, but you as well to remember or to see what you are requesting. And that is enough for the Postgres node to actually run the query for you and gather the necessary information. You saw that working, and we're about to see that for more follow-up questions in a minute as well. And of course, the AI agent here is a tools agent, and the user message on our original AI agent, we had that set to be the chat message that you receive from the user. In this case, myself, in your case, you or your client or your colleagues. In this case, I'm parsing both the user request and the suggested query. Because remember, when we first parsed information to this agent here, we already had a query. And what's happening is, in a lot of cases, this query here, it's already pretty much what Postgres node needs to run the query. But again, we'll let the AI know that we have that information, and the AI will improve on it or not. Or if it's already 100%, it's just gonna parse that to Postgres. Now, the second use of this workflow is for AI agents to create charts for us. Again, we have that same information here on the user. The prompt, in this case, we are asking the AI to create and generate charts for us. So in this prompt here, we're not telling the AI agent, you are a data analyst. No. We are telling it, you are a specialist in creating, crafting charts for XYZ. And you can see that here in details. Another very important piece of information as well is the output. So we want to tell the agent to provide the generated chart as a quick chart URL, ensuring this URL is correctly formatted and ready for embedding into an HTML email. You must have figured out already why this is so important, right? Because we want the email to have a formatting in which you don't need to click to see the charts if you have any charts. You can actually visualize it on the email body. And by the way, sorry, I skipped the prompt for the SQL agent. And just like in the charts one, we are not telling it you are a data analyst. No, we are telling it you are a highly skilled SQL developer specializing in crafting precise and efficient Postgres SQL queries for data analysis. You're not repeating the same prompt you gave the main and original agent. And just so you know, here I'm using the good old OpenAI model and not Claude. Postgres for memory as always, and here for the tools you have this quick charts here, and you don't even need to set up an external credential. In this case I'm telling the description what and when use this tool, and the chart type as well. I'm using the from AI syntax again, and it's working just fine for me, calling it the key chart type, and the description best chart based on the user's request and the data available. So all except for the colors are being defined by the AI based on what's best to explain the user's request as well as the data available. Now it's time for us to ask the follow-up questions we were talking about, and the idea again is for this solution to be something that you can implement for your company, your clients. So we already asked a very simple question: what is the database about? Now let's ask for a specific chart. Can you create a chart showing the sales revenue over time, month over month, please? Let's see what's going to happen. Another very interesting thing, you can always check the logs here, so you can see what is the path that your AI agent took. So the first one is always going to be the memory, always updating the memory. Then it's using the AI brain to decide what to do. So that's what this step's doing. It decided to call for the SQL agent, what is expected as well, because we need to gather or to retrieve data information. Then it's using the brain again, calling for the other nodes, which is the charts one. Finally using the brain again and updating the memory, and it just returned for us the information that we requested. So monthly sales revenue analysis. So you can see month after month, we have a huge spike here in November, and we already knew that we don't have November of the prior year. So it starts in December. Oh, it's already giving you insights. Pretty nice, very interesting. It tells you that December 2011 data is incomplete. So it's already explaining this decrease here, and it's telling that based on the partial trends, December was going to potentially exceed the prior year, which is good. It's already more than we asked already, right? The response. We could ask that to be sent by email already, but let's ask for a more challenging one. Can you provide explanation why did November grow so much versus October? Now it should take a while for the AI to have the analysis sent to us, and if it's all good, we ask it to be sent via email. If not, we can keep asking for follow-ups and be more specific in the questions we are asking. And something that's happened to me already when I was testing this yesterday actually was based on some questions that I was asking and some responses I was getting, I was able to improve on the prompts, the original prompts I had before. So for anything that you're building, it's not like you build it and forget to improve. You learn from it by using it and by building it, and then you go back and improve on whatever it is that you built. This process of continuously learning and improving is critical whenever you want to build something, be that for yourself, for your company, or even more so when you're selling those kind of solutions. You can see here that it called the same SQL agent twice, so it probably wanted more information than what it got for the first time. Then it called the charts one, and that's where we have the response. Oh, that's really nice. So it's a 30% revenue growth from October to November. One of the key factors. Seasonal shifts to holiday shopping. So we can see that holiday and Christmas items is the main cause of growth here. Interesting. Telling us here, so yeah. It grew 331%. This is another critical information as well. It accounts for roughly 70% of the total revenue increase. So the contribution is 70%, right? So amazing. So significant growth in customer base and orders. That's a pretty good analysis of total orders, unique customers, items sold, average order remained stable. So price probably didn't change much, and item per so it's more about quantity of orders and customers than the average order increasing in price and value. Retail calendar effect. So yeah, it mentioned Black Friday. That's amazing. Product strategy. I'm pretty satisfied with his analysis, especially because I haven't asked for any follow-up yet. So let's test the email feature now. Can you send me that analysis with the charts via email? Kudos. Let's be nice to the AI. So that's something that I changed in the prompt. Remember, I told you guys at the very beginning of the video, it's asking us to confirm that we really want it to be sent via email. Just how I like it. I do confirm. Thanks. As you can see the logs here, it's called the email already. Good. The email should arrive in a few seconds. Here it is. It's just like what we saw in the chat. The formatting is just fine. Kudos. It's working. So hopefully you like that as well. And if you have any questions, any other solution you'd like me to build, feel free to reach out in the comments. And if you're looking for someone to build something for you or for your business, I'm gonna leave my link as well where you can reach out and we can have a 101 and get to work. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.